Morning students. In the previous class, we have discussed about the microorganisms acting as our friends. There we have discussed and how they are helpful in various aspects to human beings regarding their uses in the dairy industry, in bakery industry, in the alcoholic beverages production, in the sewerage treatment aspect, as well as also in the formation of vaccines and antibiotics. We have also discussed their role in the cleaning the environment and in the fixation of nitrogen within the soil in the agriculture sector, as well as used for the production of fuel like ethanol and methane gas. Today we'll discuss about the topic microorganisms, the foes. So now in this unit we'll discuss about the microorganisms in which they would be behaving like our enemies, or they may be causing adverse impact upon the health of human beings, as well as in different aspects within the plant species and other animals. So, do we observe in nature that there are so many diseases within the human beings, in different animals, and within the plant species which are caused due to these types of microorganisms. So, there's a word which we use which is pathogens, which means disease causing organisms, means the certain diseases there are in the nature which are caused due to certain microorganisms. So they are called as pathogens. So likewise, some microorganisms they also cause the spoilage of food, whereas some grow upon the leather and clothes and have an adverse effect on their quality. So we might have seen during the rainy season, if the leather shoes they are wet and they are not being dried, they are left in a dark room for certain days, we may observe that certain hair-like structures may grow upon them, which may also further on deteriorate their quality. So that group of organisms which have been grown upon the leather shoes are the fungus. Just like we may observe, if we have cooked the food in the morning and we have not refrigerated the food, we may observe foul smell, and the taste of the food also changes if we try to consume in the late evening. We may also observe that bacteria they also grow within the food particles which are present in between our teeth, and they grow there, they survive there, they reproduce there, and they releases certain types of acids which corrodes the enamel. We know the enamel is the hardest substance of our body, and if it is being corroded by the acids released by the bacteria, further it may cause the cavities, the dental cavities, and which may cause the adverse impact upon our teeth. Likewise, if microbes they grow within any water bodies, much more in number than to their required specific limit, what they may cause, they consumes the oxygen dissolved within the water body, and they decreases the dissolved oxygen content within the particular water body, which may cause again the harmful impact upon the living organisms surviving there, for example the fishes, the other groups of organisms present within them. So we may say that certain groups of microorganisms are there in nature which causes adverse impact upon the human health as well as to the environment. So now these days we are very much familiar with the virus named novel coronavirus, which is causing so much drastic effect upon the human health, and it has become now the pandemic disease. So we may know that it is also a disease which is caused by pathogens, means certain germs or like that these microbes, which is the particular virus causing the disease COVID-19. Now we'll discuss about the microorganisms causing diseases in humans. We survive upon the planet Earth, and during our whole lifetime we come in contact with different types of microbes present around us in the environment, and some of these microorganisms may have an harmful impact upon the body. So they invade our body, means they enter the body and they multiply inside it. They releases certain toxic chemicals which are called as toxins and which causes the adverse effect upon the body. For example, a person named X, he has consumed contaminated water on 5th of July, and the water was containing the bacteria to cause the disease typhoid, that was Salmonella typhi. What did he observe within himself? That on 12th of July the symptoms were observed. So how do the symptoms were observed? For the bacteria, for the microscopic bacteria, the body is so much large enough that a single microscopic organism can't do anything upon the large size of the body. So what it does, first of all, it starts increasing its number through the process of reproduction. So may suppose on 5th of July he has consumed the contaminated water, and suppose on the 12th July the symptoms were started to be observed. So what the reason is behind that, from the 5th of July to 12th of July, what the bacteria did, it started to reproduce, it started to increase its number, and when the number were increased, the toxins which were released by the bacteria, they started to show the symptoms. So the period in between which the microbe has entered or invaded the body and until and unless it doesn't show the symptoms is called as incubation period. So if the person or if the individual, if it is detected with the certain particular microbe within the incubation period, may that the treatment of the disease, it will take shorter duration, it will take shorter aspect, the disease would be cured in short time interval. So as the incubation period is over, the symptoms are observed, and that is due to the release of toxins which are released by those microbes which are surviving within the individual human being. So the incubation period for different diseases would be different, and also it would be differing and depending upon the immune system of the person. Means if the immune system of the individual person is strong, may that the incubation period will take much more longer time, and if the immune system is weaker, in that case may that the incubation period would be of short duration and the symptoms would be observed very soon due to the release of toxins. Now we'll discuss the differences between the communicable disease and non-communicable disease. So what do we mean by the communicable disease? Means the diseases which gets transferred from an infected person to a healthy person are known as communicable diseases. Means the diseases which gets transferred from an infected person to a healthy person are known as communicable disease. Whereas on the other hand, the diseases which do not get transferred from an infected person to a healthy person are categorized under non-communicable disease. Second point, communicable diseases are caused by pathogens. So just now do we have discussed, means the disease causing germs are called as pathogens. So the communicable diseases, they are caused by these pathogens. For example, maybe bacteria, maybe through virus, or maybe through fungi, or maybe through protozoa. Whereas on the other hand, the non-communicable diseases are generally caused by some deficiency of nutrients, like deficiency of certain vitamins, certain minerals like vitamin A or B or C or D, etc., or through certain allergy reactions. If we go for the examples, we have the most common and familiar examples under the category of communicable diseases are dengue, rabies, malaria, typhoid, cholera, measles, etc. We may put a list. So many diseases, they are caused by certain pathogens which are responsible for the transmission of the certain these diseases. Whereas in the case of non-communicable diseases, we may go through the example. For example, beriberi, which is caused due to the deficiency of vitamin B. Likewise, rickets due to deficiency of vitamin D. The scurvy, which is due to deficiency of vitamin C. Likewise, the night blindness, which is caused due to deficiency of vitamin A. So we may have understood now what are the differences between a communicable disease and non-communicable disease. Now we'll go through a quick look regarding the causative agents for the cause of different diseases within human beings. There are certain diseases which are caused by bacteria. For example, tuberculosis, TB, diphtheria, cholera, typhoid, tetanus, anthrax, etc. Just like there are certain viral diseases which are caused by certain viruses. For example, the common cold, the influenza, rabies, mumps, polio, measles, AIDS, and the most common now, which is the disease, corona disease. Just like there are certain diseases which are caused by the group of microbes which are fungi. For example, the ringworm disease, the athlete's foot disease, etc. There are also certain diseases which are caused by these protozoans. So these protozoans, they cause diseases like malaria, kala jar, amoebic dysentery, sleeping sickness, etc. Now we'll discuss about the modes of transmission of pathogens. Means the disease causing germs, how they are transmitted from one place to another. There are different agents through which the transmission of pathogens do takes place. For example, through air, like whenever an infected person coughs, he sneezes, or while coughing, the droplets containing those microbes may come out from their body and they may be present within the air and may cause the disease if any of the healthy person may inhale such type of particular droplets present within the air and if he has not been vaccinated for the said disease. For example, tuberculosis, common cold, influenza, swine flu, etc. And likewise now these days we are going through that also, that observing the mode of transmission of the disease corona is also through somehow through the air. Likewise, the second mode of transmission is through water. Means when the person consumes contaminated water having that certain pathogens within it. For example, the disease typhoid, cholera, amoebic dysentery, etc. These diseases, they are caused due to the consumption of contaminated water by the healthy person. The third mode of transmission is soil. For example, consuming the food items which are not washed properly. For example, we may say raw vegetables like different types of, we may consider carrots, radishes, or any other food items which are not washed, which are not peeled properly, they may be also a source of causing the disease, the disease that is tetanus, as well as ascariasis, which is caused due to the roundworm. Likewise, so many diseases are caused by the worms which may be present within the soil, or the eggs may be present which may cause that certain diseases. The fourth category, the modes of transmission, is through animals, means when the healthier person comes in direct contact to the infected person. For example, in the case of measles, or like so on some other diseases just that we are going through, we may consider the disease corona, that is also transmitted through direct contact, as well as there are diseases which may spread through vectors, means there are some intermediate agents which acts to transmit the disease from one infected person to the healthier person. For example, the mosquito, housefly, etc. They also cause the transmission of diseases like the typhoid, cholera, etc. There are also diseases which may caused by the bite of the infected dog, for example the rabies. Likewise, the diseases which may be caused due to the bite of mosquitoes, the infected mosquitoes, which may be malaria, chikungunya, yellow fever, etc. And there are also certain diseases, more we may put in that list, that may be caused due to direct contact. For example, the measles, common cold, influenza, conjunctivitis, these are the different diseases. So we may put more in the list of the diseases which are caused due to direct contact with the infected person. So that just now do we have discussed about the diseases and their modes of transmission of the pathogens. In the next class, we'll discuss about the prevention of diseases and how do we may prevent the spreading of the disease or the transmission of diseases from an infected person to a healthier person, and other some related aspects. Till so far here, thank you, have a nice day.